and welcome to News Now on TV360. I am Thelma Okoro. A new speaker has been sworn in by the Edo State House of Assembly. Elizabeth Ativie was sworn in as speaker on Monday. She becomes the first female speaker of the Edo State House of Assembly. Ativie emerged speaker following the rowdy session in the Edo State House of Assembly last week that saw the impeachment of Victor Edoro as Speaker of the House and his deputy. They were both accused of incompetence and misconduct. Shortly after her swearing-in on Monday, the new speaker pledged to maintain an open-door policy and provide leadership that will move the state forward. The federal government has deployed officials to uncover the group behind the recent bombings of oil installations in the Niger Delta region. A new militant group in the oil-rich region, the Niger Delta Avengers, claimed responsibility for the recent attacks on the Shell platform at Forcados, the Chevron platform in Escravos, and the pipelines transporting crude oil to the Warri and Kaduna refineries. The group vowed to carry out more strikes until its demands are met by the Nigerian government. Over the past few weeks, pipeline attacks and violence have risen in Nigeria's oil-rich region. Still on Niger militants, Shell workers at Niger's Bonga oil field in the southern Niger Delta region have been evacuated. Chairman of the Warri branch of Nupeng, Kojent Ojobo, said the workers were being evacuated following a militant threat, and the evacuation is being done in categories of workers and cadres. Earlier on Monday, Shell said oil output was continuing at its oil fields in Nigeria despite local media reports of a militant attack near its Bonga facilities. A group known as the Niger Delta Avengers claimed responsibility for recent attacks in the region. The same group carried out an attack on a Shell oil pipeline in February, which shut down the 250,000 barrel a day Forcados export terminal. President Muhammad Buhari has since vowed to crack down on vandals in the region. Former Minister of Aviation Femi Fani-Kayode has been granted bail after his visit to the headquarters of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. Fani-Kayode had been summoned by the EFCC over an alleged 840 million naira he received during the PDP presidential campaign in 2015. He served as the spokesperson for ex-Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan's campaign organization. Last week, the EFCC laid siege for several hours on his home in the Abuja, the nation's capital. Fani-Kayode is a staunch critic of Nigerian President Muhammad Buhari and the ruling All Progressives Congress. The Nigerian Air Force says it has received medical equipment and food supplies donated by a US-based non-governmental organization, Project Cure. Speaking during the handover ceremony in Abuja, the nation's capital, the Air Force said the aid is part of its commitment to give support to the IDPs in the country. Nigeria currently has over 2 million people living in formal camps, host communities and satellite camps as a result of the insurgency in northeastern states of Borno, Yobe, Taraba, Gombe, Bauchi and Adamawa states.
Prior to the items arriving, we have marshaled out plans. I would like to reassure Mr. Nelson that these items will not stay 2 weeks here. They are leaving immediately for the areas where they will affect the lives of those they are meant for. If you look slightly to your left, you will see a Hercules C-130 parked. It came from Lagos, and immediately after this, it is to be loaded, and the items will be taken to the northeast. So I thank you. I thank you very much for this input on behalf of the Air Force. We assure you the items will be properly utilized.
And international NGOs and other stakeholders involved in the interest of securing the safety and success of the people in the North to work with and together to build better public health outcomes by utilizing the resources that are available to them. So,
over 150 surgeries have been conducted for various medical conditions for the IDPs, which include eye surgeries, surgeries for various ailments in our various hospitals across the country. The humanitarian activities of the NAV have been widely applauded by the IDPs themselves, a cross-section of general public, and various governmental and non-governmental agencies across the country. Having had the humanitarian activities of the Nigerian Air Force, an international charity agency, that is the project core, has donated a 40-feet container filled with assorted medical equipment and consumables to the Nigerian Air Force in order to enhance its activities. In this container, sir, there are over 5,000 individual items which are packaged to be delivered for the IDP's medical facilities in the Northeast, that is in Maiduguri and Yola. These items ranges from syringes, dressing materials, instrument, that's ward instrument and general outpatient instrument, hospital trolleys, hospital beds, to name a few. From our experience in the IDP camps, these are the much needed supplies in the camps, and hence they will certainly improve the health status and well-being of the IDPs attending the benefiting medical facilities.
Police officials have arrested a man accused of beating his wife to death in Lagos State, southwest Nigeria. The man, Lekon Shonde, was arrested on Monday, days after he reportedly fled his home after killing his wife, Ronke Shonde. The couple had been married for 8 years and have 2 kids together. Shonde, a depot worker in the Apapa area of Lagos, accused his wife of being unfaithful. 5 governors of Nigeria's South states have met to discuss various security issues affecting the zone. One of such issues is the current invasion and killings of Fulani herdsmen in some states across the country. The governors, who are members of the opposition People's Democratic Party, met on Sunday in Asaba, the capital of Delta State. At the meeting were Governor of Delta State Ifeanyi Okowa, Akwa Ibom State Governor Gabriel Udom Emmanuel, Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike, Bayelsa State Governor Serike Dixon, and Cross River State Governor Professor Ben Ayade. They discussed security challenges posed by the Fulani herdsmen and condemned the recent pipeline vandalism in the Niger Delta region. President Muhammad Buhari is expected to visit London to participate in the International Anti-Corruption Summit, which will be held at the British capital. The summit is expected to begin on Thursday. The president will leave Nigeria on Tuesday. President Buhari is one of the world leaders scheduled to speak at the opening session of the Anti-Corruption Summit, with others including Prime Minister Cameron and the President of the World Bank, Dr. Jim Yong Kim. President Buhari's delegation to the summit include the Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, and Acting Chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Ibrahim Magu. Since taking office last May, President Buhari has vowed to crack down on corruption and sought help from several nations, including the United States and Switzerland, to recover money stolen by public officials. Godwin Obaseki, a governorship aspirant for Edo State, has escaped an attempt on his life after gunmen opened fire at him during an event. Obaseki is contesting under the platform of the All Progressives Congress. The incident occurred on Sunday at an APC event held at Sobe Owan West Local Government Area of Edo State. Just 7 days ago, Deputy Governor of Edo State, Pius Odubu, escaped an assassination attempt on his life. He's also one of Edo State's governorship aspirants. The Deputy Governor and Obaseki have been hailed as the strong contenders for the APC governorship ticket. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll look at business and sports. Stay tuned.
Comedy time once again. Chapel of Comedy with Nehi, featuring Igor, Elenu, MC Abe, MC Shakara, Emeka Smith, Bash, and many more.
Music by Tim Godfrey. Special guest appearance Omotolai Kehinde, Charles Inoje. Venue Golden Tulip, Amodofin, Festive Town, Lagos.
Date 22nd May 2016. Time 5 p.m. Blue carpet 4 p.m. Ticket regular 2,000 naira, VIP 5,000 naira, table for 5 50,000 naira.
For ticket bookings and inquiries, please call 08262372051 or 089-187-1640. Powered by Gospel Life Entertainment. 100% clean joke.
Hello, you're welcome. You're watching the Funny White Man Show, which is the biggest, the brightest, and most entertaining show in Africa.
Funny white man, but this way you talk, it's too much. Give me 5,000 man, that's you. It's too much. So you get it like, make you move along the street. Yeah, me should like there, I'm going girl. You know, my own people, actually. Yeah, fine, it's fun. I enjoy it. And I'm one of those very few. I'm forever taking it personal. I will say 160 million Nigerians are corrupt. How? My brother, I'm looking for you.
Yeah, but it's a growth, and this is the time to build business and know the pitfalls and know what to do and what not to do. But there are months where you get business and months.
You know how we do, how we train. We do the way you do.
Hello, you're welcome. You're watching Trending Matters on the Funny White Man Show. Of course, we will bring you trending issues just to entertain and tickle your fancy.
Welcome back. You're watching TV360 News Now. The Lagos State government says it generated a total revenue of over 101.69 billion naira in the first quarter of 2016. Out of the generated funds, a surplus of 4.85 billion naira was realized as a result of an expected 29.92 billion naira deficit. The State's Commissioner for Economic Planning and Budget, Akinyemi Ashade, revealed this on Monday. Ashade said the generated revenue was above that of 2015, which stood at 97.28 billion naira in the first quarter. Added that in absolute terms, the revenue performance was 4.4 billion naira more than 2015. Ashade said the remarkable feat was achieved despite the diminishing allocation from the Federation account. Oil prices fell more than 3% on Monday after traders took in the impact of wildfires on Canada's oil output. Almost all of Canada's crude oil export from oil sands is exported to the United States. U.S. crude fell by $1.22 to $43.44 a barrel, while Brent crude tumbled by 3.5% to $43.77 a barrel. Oil prices have rebounded since hitting 12-year lows of around $27 or lower in the first quarter of 2016. This has been supported by falling U.S. production, unexpected supply constraints in Libya and the Americas, as well as a weaker dollar. Landslides caused by heavy rains killed at least 49 people and destroyed hundreds of buildings in Rwanda over the weekend. Downpours brought down 500 homes, damaged infrastructure, and injured another 26 people from Saturday night into Sunday morning. Countries across East Africa have reported much heavier rainfalls this year, many of them blaming the El Nino weather phenomenon. A residential building collapsed in Kenya's capital on April 29 after days of flooding, killing 49 people. The impeachment process against Brazilian President Dilma Rousseff has been thrown into doubt. The acting Speaker of Brazil's lower house, Waldir Marrano, has annulled a vote in the lower house on 17 April that allowed the proceedings to go on to the Senate. The Senate was scheduled to vote on whether to start an impeachment process on Wednesday. It was not currently clear if that vote will now happen. African football governing body on Monday slammed Nigeria with a $5,000 fine for an overcrowding and lack of security during their 2017 African Cup of Nations qualifier against Egypt. CAF imposed the fine at a disciplinary meeting in Johannesburg, South Africa, threatening that sanctions will be applied if there was any repeat. The Ahmadu Bello Stadium in Kaduna State, which seats 20,000 spectators, had almost doubled the number of spectators during the game. Although the game passed without any major incidents, CAF wasn't too pleased with the overcrowded stadium. Despite the massive support, the Super Eagles failed to overcome the Pharaohs and lost their chances of qualifying for the AFCON. Tako Nuru, the match commissioner in Sunday's Nigerian Football League match between Kano Pillars and Ikorodu United, has been found dead in his hotel room. Officials are yet to confirm the cause of his death. Nuru, who is from Nasarawa State, performed his duties during the MPFL fixture on Sunday, May 8th, before retiring to his hotel room where he was found dead by hotel staff. Until his death, he was a former board member of the Nigerian National League headed by Emeka Inyama, whose tenure expired last year. Michel Platini says he will resign as UEFA president after his appeal against a 6-year ban from football activities failed. His 6-year ban was, however, cut short to 4 years following his appeal at the Court of Arbitration for Sports. Platini was first banned 8 years for accepting a disloyal payment of £1.35 million from Sepp Blatter in 2011. A Court of Arbitration for Sports panel reduced the ban to 4 years on Monday. If there is one sport Nigeria is famous for, it is football, or what Americans call soccer. In fact, football is to Nigeria what American football is to America. Nigeria is widely regarded as a football powerhouse in Africa, having won several international trophies in the game. But a group of young Nigerians are now making a strong case for American football to become a nation sport in the country. TV360's Deji Bademosi has that story.
This is a rare sight here in Nigeria, where football is so popular, it's become a national pastime. But for almost 2 years now, this group known as Lagos Marine has been playing American football in Nigeria's commercial capital, and their number is growing. Founded by a German diplomat in late 2014, Lagos Marine, one of only 2 American football teams in Nigeria, is the only one in the south of the country, while the other one, known as ABU Titans, is in the north. Assistant coach and offensive coordinator of the team, Bimbo Bankole, joined the group in 2015 after retiring from the U.S. Army and playing the game there while in service. He is now one of those at the forefront of getting more Nigerians to show interest in the game.
The journey has been very tough, obviously, because it's a very different sport to Nigeria. Yes, we do have a lot of people that have the exposure, the experience, having either played or seen or been around the game. Fortunately for me, I was in our U.S. Army for about 11 years, which gave me the exposure to actually play and now coach in Nigeria. So the journey has been a tough one, but we're glad to where we are now. We're getting the opportunity to showcase our talent to a lot of people. We had a great game on April 23rd at Campus Mini Stadium here in Lagos Island, and that brought the attention that we've been hoping to get for these young boys and girls, and we're just hoping to grow from there.
With just a handful of youths showing interest at inception, the team has now grown to 67 players strong.
Ready? Down. The ball now. Set hike.
There's also a category for children as well. It has 23 children from the age of 11 and below. They undergo their separate training, learning all the rudiments of the game.
Fortunately, some of these kids have older brothers and sisters on the team, so they're watching their older brothers, the excitement, the conversation when they come home about practice. So that's actually encouraging them to come out as well. The growth, obviously, for this game to flourish in Nigeria, we need to be able to plug into, obviously, the grassroots, get into the primary schools, get into the secondary schools, teach them, educate them about the sport and build from there. And I think when we start to do that as a team and as a sport, like any sport in Nigeria, it will grow. Of course, to do that, we need whatever help we can get. We just can't walk into any school and start teaching American football. If schools that are out there that are actually watching or paying attention, give us a call. Approach us, we'll gladly come in, give a clinic to some of these children, give them an opportunity to know that it's another sport other than football or soccer or basketball. There's also American football.
Virtually all the players here are not just playing the game for fun. They all hope to go play abroad someday and make a living out of the sports.
I actually have a dream to play abroad because I have some superstars who I look up to, like idols, like Laurent Landry and Adrian Peterson. Like I really feel that I could be like them, because I really watch their plays on TV. Now I'm able to train with my coaches, with my teammates, actually, play like those guys I see on TV. That's just a dream, I'm still a very young guy, so I really have that focus that I will make it in this game.
My goal is to become a professional player in American football. Yes, that's my major goal.
And make money.
It's not my big. Okay, make money is there, but it's about what you love. I have passion for the game. Because I know why you come here is tier. Because I don't go easy, I go hard.
It's definitely not a game for the weak and faint-hearted. Sometimes terrible injuries do occur, but that is certainly not putting the players off.
Everybody's aware of the risk, and I am aware of it too. I pretty much research on every health issue that has to do with the game myself. So while I'm playing, I play safe, and also I'm the team physio. So I treat every person that has injury on the team.
We are all aware of the risk, but the major thing is we need to play safe, and we're doing that. We try to keep it as minimal as possible, but contact sport. And I also heard that they're improving the protective gear so to prevent all these health issues.
At the end of the day, American football is about heart and your mental skills. And the physical part, you train, you practice, and you get it. That's it.
The obvious thing about American football, yes, it is a physical sport. Not trying to justify any injuries or the physical nature of American football. You know, I want to bring to the attention to people that ultimate fighting is a dangerous sport. UFC is a dangerous sport. Boxing is a dangerous sport. We have a lot of former pro boxers that are still suffering the effects of years of boxing. But the thing about any sport, as dangerous as it is, as long as you are teaching it and coaching it safely and teaching these children the safe ways to play this sport, I think it'll be able to educate people and say, look, you could have injuries playing any sport, even soccer. You can have scary injuries, but coaching and teaching, our job basically is to teach that we can play this thing safely and teach the kids and these young men and women that the safe way to play it is this way to play it. And, you know, there's some injuries that you can't control. You know, I'm not going to stand here and pretend like, oh yes, you know, our coaching is concussion proof. You know, there's some injuries you can't control, but as long as we implement this game safely, teach it safely, allow these young men and women to think safety first, it will help any sport, not just my sport, not just American football, even boxing, even soccer, even karate, even kung fu. Safety should be any grounds to teach American football or any sport in Nigeria.
Lagos Marine is making steady progress. More and more youths are getting attracted to the game, but funding remains a big issue. For now, the players and the coaches fund the team. But Coach Bankole says he's optimistic about the future of the game in Nigeria.
Everything we've been able to do has actually come from everybody chipping in here and there, because it's hard to get sponsorship on a sport that's so foreign to people. You know, how do you tell someone in Nigeria that sponsors the Premier League to come and look at American football? It's like we're speaking a different language to them. But, you know, those are challenges we knew going into this. You know, but because we have the passion, because these young guys have the passion, we're still playing. And who knows, maybe somewhere down the line, somebody might just show interest and help us build this thing forward. Being a fan of the sport and also once played it, my ultimate dream is to see this sport in Nigerian schools, being played every year in Nuga, being played maybe semi-annually, maybe 6 months, a competition to rotate the talent that we have. I can go down a list of Nigerian players that play overseas. It's not like we don't have the talents in this country. We have them. It's just, what do we do? What do we provide for them? If we go back and look at, like, for instance now, let's take China, for instance. They teach their children from young different sports. That's why every 4 years Olympics, they're prepared. They've been prepared 10 years before that 4-year Olympics. If we get to that point in Nigeria where we're implementing these things, these sports like American football, from the grassroots, by the time any of these kids get to university, they'll be ready to play on any level, in any country, not just Nigeria.
It's still a work in progress for American football in Nigeria. And though it is hard to see the game catching up with football anytime soon, the future of American football looks bright in a country famous for the round leather game. Deji Badimasi, TV360, Nigeria.
Well, that's all we have on News Now. Thank you very much for joining us. I am Thelma Okoro.